Hi, I'm Kevin Myers, and thank you for joining us tonight as we remember the failed overthrow of our government, the United States government, that took place exactly 1 year ago, on January 6th, 2021. We begin with just the facts of what happened on that terrible day, no deflections, no lies. Our sources will be available in the description for reference. At 11 a.m., former President Trump, along with his family and a few of his loyalists in Congress, held a Stop the Steal rally in front of the White House, where the same lies and conspiracy theories of the stolen election that former president had been repeating for months were presented before a crowd of supporters who had traveled near and far to attend the event. The speeches provided the crowd a fiery call to action that many, in hindsight, now see as a coded call towards violence.
Because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong. We fight like hell, and if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
Let's have trial by combat.
Today is the day American patriots start taking down names and kicking ass.
Meanwhile, in the Capitol, Congress gathered at 1 p.m. to certify the Electoral College in which Biden had emerged victorious. Historically, this proceeding has been largely ceremonial and received little news coverage, but Trump had been encouraging his then Vice President Mike Pence to attempt to obstruct the process by means not provided in the Constitution, which Pence, in a letter earlier that morning, indicated he had no interest in doing. Many of Trump's loyalists in the House and a few in the Senate had indicated they would attempt to decertify the results in key battleground states Biden had won, effectively disregarding the choice of millions of voters. As was known at the time, the move was not going to succeed, but these attempts were unprecedented, and all eyes were on Congress as it certified the vote. By 1:10 p.m., Trump was concluding his rally and encouraged his supporters to march toward the Capitol, though some were already on their way. Almost immediately after their arrival, the crowd turned violent, attacking D.C. and Capitol Police officers and pushing the police perimeter surrounding the Capitol inward. Before long, the Capitol Police had ordered an evacuation of the Library of Congress as well as congressional office buildings nearby. Shortly after 2 p.m., insurrectionists had breached the perimeter and began to make their way into the Capitol, smashing doors and windows and attacking Capitol Police officers and journalists with flagpoles, bear spray, and even fire extinguishers. Former Vice President Mike Pence and the rest of the Senate had been whisked off by Capitol Police and Secret Service, narrowly escaping the wrath of the mob that burst into the Senate chamber. Meanwhile, President Trump tweeted to his followers, quote, "Mike Pence didn't have the courage to do what should have been done to protect our country and our Constitution, giving states a chance to certify a corrected set of facts, not the fraudulent or inaccurate ones which they were asked to previously certified. USA demands the truth," end quote. This was as his supporters erected a gallows outside the Capitol earlier that day and burst into the building chanting, "Hang Mike Pence." The insurrectionists continued with the assault, having rifled the congressional offices and files. They attempted to breach the House chamber where members were sheltered in place. It was here that insurrectionist Ashley Babbitt was shot and killed by Capitol Police for attempting to break into the Speaker's lobby. It was also here that this now iconic photograph was taken of representatives and police with guns drawn on a man attempting to break into the House chamber. As these events unfolded, Trump tweeted multiple times encouraging his supporters to stay peaceful, despite the fact that by this time the protest had already escalated into a riot. Additionally, members of his staff later told the press that he was watching these events unfold on television, indicating that he was well aware of the violence occurring. He also tweeted a minute-long video intended as a message to the insurrectionists to go home, but devoted the majority of its runtime to repeating the election lies that had incited the riot in the first place. Trump's last tweet before his account would be suspended by Twitter read, quote, "These are the things and events that happen when a sacred landslide election victory is so unceremoniously and viciously stripped away from great patriots who have been badly and unfairly treated for so long. Go home with love and in peace. Remember this day forever," end quote. It was an apparent endorsement of the insurrection. In the days that followed, Trump would later release statements and videos attempting to distance himself from the insurrection while expressing little remorse and accepting no responsibility. By 8 p.m., the rioters had left. The Capitol had been secured, pipe bombs discovered at the RNC and DNC's headquarters had been discovered and successfully defused, and Congress bravely reconvened to finish the process that the insurrectionists had interrupted and officially certified President Joe Biden's win. However, the event left us with many questions which are still under investigation by the January 6th Select Committee in the House and the Justice Department. These questions surround law enforcement's failure to prepare for and respond to the insurrection, as well as who and how the attack was planned, and whether members of Trump's presidential administration or Congress were involved in the planning and coordination of the attack. What we do know today is that the attack was carried out by supporters of Trump and white supremacist militias, including the Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers, and the Base. We also know that hundreds have been arrested and charged, and that some rioters have already been convicted and are carrying out sentences as the investigations push forward. 5 people died as a result of the insurrection, 4 of them being rioters, and the 5th being a Capitol police officer. Over 100 police officers were injured and 4 committed suicide in the days and months following the attack. I would like to take a moment now to honor those who protected our democracy and paid the ultimate price. I would also like to take a moment to recognize Capitol Police Officer Eugene Goodman, who thankfully is still with us and used himself as a distraction to lure insurrectionists away from the Senate chamber, giving Vice President Mike Pence critical time to escape. Finally, I'd like to offer my 2 cents as to where we go from here. First, oftentimes with these issues of lies and conspiracy theories, the adherents of conspiracy theories, whether they be the pandemic, the big lie, or K-12 schools and CRT, these adherents are portrayed as victims of some cruel plot, and to some extent, they are victims. However, there remains a degree of personal responsibility, especially when you act on these conspiracy theories and move towards violence by threatening or attacking journalists, police, and elected officials. You have the choice of who to listen to and who to ignore and what organizations to put your trust in. And you also have the freedom to change who you trust and who you listen to at any given moment. Secondly, I'd like to address why we called this special America Under Attack. The title is admittedly sensationalist and stylistically similar to the rhetoric used by the type of extremists who attacked the Capitol. This was intentional, as I wanted to highlight how these sorts of anti-democratic figures and movements often mask themselves in patriotic language and symbols, when in reality the priorities of these groups and individuals are diametrically opposed to American values and traditions. I think we the people need to remain vigilant and ensure that our elected officials are working for democracy and not against it, and learn to see past patriotic posturing. We need Democrats who support and defend democracy in power. We need Republicans who support and defend democracy in power, and we the people have the power to ensure that is the case. That is it for this special edition. I'm Kevin Myers. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and God bless our democracy and all those who protect and defend it.